Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. It's time for another festive Friday 5pm. I hope you've got a beer in your hand. I don't, because I'm slightly suffering.
Why are you suffering, Johnny?
I was hosting the British Guild of Beer Writers Awards last night on Zoom. Never host anything on Zoom. As soon as you want to do anything other than just show someone's face and hear them, it's the worst program I think I've ever worked with.
So why is it that Zoom, everyone's going crazy for Zoom these days? And I don't know if they're on the, I'm guessing they're on the stock market. They must be worth quadrillions by now. With,
yeah, I mean, we were all laughing at the creator of Zoom a year ago, exactly. And now he's laughing at us, and he's not updating his program to be any better, despite most businesses around the world now relying on it. Anyway, I've immediately derailed that. Yes, I was hosting the British Guild of Beer Writers because I was Beer Writer of the Year last year. You don't get to enter, you have to host, which usually is a lovely swanky dinner where you get to be on stage and shake everyone's hand, whereas this time I sat in my living room and drank a lot of beer and announced like life-changing news to people to no applause, no reaction, nothing, because they were all on mute. So that was super weird, and I reacted by getting quite drunk.
So less fanfare this year than normal.
Yeah, a little bit. And a little bit
of a bad year to have won it the year preceding. Bit of a poison chalice of a year. No 5-6 course meal or whatever it was that we normally get.
I think I drank a poison chalice last night.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but the winner, Lily Waite, is an amazing writer and thoroughly deserved winning Beer Writer of the Year. So if you don't follow her, do give her a follow. We'll put a link to her, some of her profiles or some of her work, one of the two, in the show notes below. How are you, Brad? How's your week been?
I'm good, man. Yeah, really good. I didn't watch it along last night with you, but I was looking at Twitter at the Guild's tweets, and I was pleasantly surprised by the really strong female contingent that had been winners this year, which I thought was great to see some more representation than we might normally see in the awards. So I thought that was very progressive. And
yeah, it's amazing. Well over half of the winners were women, which was great.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, my week's been good, man. We've obviously been filming some stuff, some Christmas content, which is always fun. And yeah, I haven't really been drinking a lot other than that. I've just been quite hard at work this week on some top secret projects. But I did come up with another merch idea, which I'll talk to you about afterwards. But
you can't dangle that on the podcast and not give people an idea, or is it a controversial one?
It's not a controversial one, no. But that's a good point. So, like our merch store on Teespring is up, and it's got loads of amazing designs on there that you can still get before Christmas with rush shipping. So
you can
go check it out.
To the 20th of December to get yourself a bit of CBC merch for you or your loved one, who I'm sure would appreciate it.
That's it. We were talking just briefly before we started recording. We missed doing a Christmas jumper, which is obviously a massive faux pas. But I mean, if we'd done a Christmas jumper, we would have been wearing it in the videos, all the Christmas content. So we dropped a ball there. But it's hard. Next year, yeah, I'll be planning it straight after I get off of this phone call. But next year, man, this time next year, we'll be we won't be millionaires. We'll be wearing our own merch Christmas jumpers.
Well, that de-escalated real fast.
But talking of millionaires, we've had a couple of million views this year. We're about to hit 100,000 subscribers. I feel like a millionaire.
There you go. Pappy, you're a millionaire.
That's it.
Yeah. Right, well, so we'll get into the video from this week in a second. Just before we do, we should quickly remind everybody that we have our annual Christmas live show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. UK time on the Craft Beer channel. So if you are free tomorrow night, please do join us. We've got some amazing guests. They're all confirmed now. We've got Ned the Sneb Palmer, Cheese Whisperer.
Ooh.
We've got Ollie Hayden of Pint Sized. Rob from Hopzine texted me after last week's going, I've just listened to the podcast. Sorry I didn't reply to your email. So he's now confirmed. And obviously we have Simon of Real Ale Guide joining us as well. So it's going to be, oh boy. It's going to be derailed so often.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a Jules Holland style hootenanny of a live show.
Yeah.
I don't know which one of us two is Jules Holland. You're certainly more musical.
I think I'm Jules Holland and you're the washed up rock star that can't quite stay focused on the topic.
So all of the guests then that are normally on Jules Holland. Actually, that's not fair. They're very focused, a lot of those guests. You're talking about I'm one of the people who's in the crowd that isn't allowed to play because they're too
drunk.
They're too drunk or too old or whatever. So I'm one of those guys. One of the legends that's sitting in the front row.
What's going to happen with the Hootenanny this year? They wouldn't have been able to film it in advance.
Who knows, man?
It's going to be a best of, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Goddamn flashback episode.
I wouldn't be surprised if they pull something out the bag somehow. Maybe it'll be...
Jules will find his way. He's been self-isolating since it began, ready for the Hootenanny.
I hope so. I mean, he's definitely not been in the Dog and Bell in South London, which is a boozer that he's known to drink in. They're shut at the moment anyway, so they're not opening until, I think, the new year. Which is unfortunate for me, but yeah. So he's a South London boy like myself, Deptford from the land of Deptford. Yeah, squeeze all the rest. But
he escaped it, most importantly.
But I think he still lives pretty locally, and he does drink. He does drink, like I say, in Deptford from time to time, which is cool.
Well, there you go. Right, talking of people derailing, let's get back on track. Shall we talk about the video from this week? Because it was an exciting one and has done pretty well.
Yeah, man.
On the YouTubes.
Great stuff.
I was really pleasantly surprised by the reaction to it because the beer, I'm assuming you guys have all seen the video at this point, the beer was not perfect, was it, Brad?
It wasn't perfect, but I think you're being a bit hard on yourself. Like, this is obviously a style that you've never brewed before from a country that you've never brewed any of their beers from. And it's a big beer, and it was a complicated brew. And I think we'd sort of front loaded it with a lot of expectation. That, you know,
we had really built up the idea of a mince pie, but
I'd speculated that we were going to save Christmas with single-handed with this brew. I put a lot of responsibility on you. I sort of blame myself for maybe the pressure getting to you. I think the yeast molecules had maybe been listening when you were editing the video, and the expectation.
I was singing Christmas carols to them to try and inspire them.
Yeah,
you know, like when you talk to your houseplants.
Did you? I hope you put the. Did you do what I told you to put the fermenter in front of the TV when you were watching Die Hard and Home Alone? Yeah, just so it could get extra Christmassy. You did that, right? You did it, yeah?
Of course.
Oh, of course. Good stuff.
I mean, I'm a scientific brewer. I know what works.
Yeah. It's like, like cows that they play music to, making better beef and all that kind of stuff. And feeding them beer, obviously.
You know, we joke about it, but apparently there are breweries around the world. I think, do I want to say Lindeman's or Bone or one of the Lambic breweries plays music in their foeder room, so where all the giant barrels are. Not because they believe that the music, you know, is inspiring the yeast in some kind of Brian Eno way, but because the rhythm keeps the beer moving in the barrels.
Yeah,
supposedly. So the small vibrations
agitates the beverage.
So I'm assuming it's drum and bass or something, because I know the Belgians love. Actually, it's probably Belgian jazz, isn't it? God, that's intolerable.
I hope it's more like gabba, to be honest. Like in the lowlands, in Holland especially, they love gabba, which is extremely fast, aggressive dance music.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping that they, Lindemans, they're making pretty chilled out fruity
having
beers.
Met the Lindemans family, Dirk Lindemann, I don't think it's going to be gabba.
Hardcore gabba. They're just absolute ravers. They hang around in disused warehouses at gabba nights, sort of peddling fruit-based beers.
I mean, in tough times, that could be a good revenue stream. Like, if Lambic isn't selling very well, just start hosting gabba raves with your barrel house.
Exactly. Yeah, in the barrel house, perfect. Even better, I reckon. Yeah. Great stuff.
Anyway, again, back to the video. Basically what happened is I got the brewing process went perfectly. It could not have gone any better, but my recipe was just a little bit off. So I've been thinking long and hard about this, and there's a couple of things. So the first thing is I think I picked the wrong hops. So when I got a tour of Westmalle, which not everyone gets to do, so I was very lucky and I was making notes, and I kind of forgot about that. When I was going around, it seemed like they were using mostly German hops for the Westmalle beers. So I've already subbed out Challenger, the British hop we used, for Tettnanger, which I think will help smooth out the bitterness and reduce the amount of bitterness in there. And I've also halved the amount of Carafa 2, which was the dark malt that we used, and a little bit less sugar as well.
Yeah.
Dark Belgian candy sugar.
I think some people were suggesting that the dark stuff could have just gone in right at the end.
Yeah, there's also that technique. But, I think, why would you add lots late when you could, for a very, 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 very similar effect, add less early. And also, adding something late just makes calculating your gravity a little bit harder. Not that Carafa would really affect the gravity, but I want to know from the start that it's sort of going to work. And I did want some flavour. I did want a little bit of kind of burnt toast stuff just to balance how sweet it was going to be. We just got way too much.
Yeah.
So that recipe has been adapted and is now on Brewer's Friend if anybody wants to make it.
Brilliant. And I mean, to be honest, it wasn't as mince pie as we hoped, but I'll tell you what, it's bloody good with a mince pie. It was excellent.
Yeah, which is more practical. Yeah,
definitely.
Nobody goes, I fancy a mince pie. Oh no, wait, I'll just have the beer flavour.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it was pretty close, and it was a great Belgian stout. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the other thing that I'd suggest if anybody's making it at home is just give the raisins a little bit more time to ferment out in the fermenter, and also lager it for a little bit longer. So I only did it for about 5 days, which isn't really lagering; that's just cold crashing. But the Westmalle breweries, the Trappist breweries, do lager their beers for quite a long time. So I'd suggest doing that and giving it more time in bottle as well. So we put lots into large format, which I'm very pleased about, because I'll put a link in the show notes to our video all about aging beer, but it has all the characteristics. Our Mince Pie Dubbel has all the characteristics of a beer that will age well. So, quite high roast, quite high bitterness, lots of natural adjuncts that can change and shift in bottle, and obviously it's bottle conditioned, which is the most important thing. So it's going to continue to it's alive in that bottle. It's its own little ecosystem now. It's not sort of dead like it would be if you hadn't bottle conditioned and it was just the liquid was in there oxidizing. So I think we might even make a video every 3 months or so. We'll crack one of those big ones until next Christmas, and then we can link it all together and go, this is how our beer aged.
Talking of next Christmas and that beer, we had a question, not a question, but we had a comment from Ben Dawson on the video, and he just said, "I bet you could make a great Christmas pudding using this beer next year." I think he's probably right. Like you're saying, it's going to develop over time, get richer, get more full-bodied, and make a boozy Christmas pudding. Yum.
Interesting. That could definitely be some Christmas content for next year. Good thought. Was that your favourite comment, or was that just an additional one you remembered?
That was I like that comment because I thought it was a really good idea. Just a shout out to Kevin all over the world, who said that Milton Glazer shirt is excellent. Thanks, Kev. Available on our Teespring, as I said, along with plenty of others, including a Pizza Hut style T-shirt for no apparent good reason, but I love it. So those are my comments, Johnny. They're quite silly little throwaway comments this week. What about you, mate?
There were so many comments this week. Like, our views are going up again. I think at Christmas, we generally get a little spike of viewers as work winds down and people are starting to think, what beer should I buy for Christmas? But the one I've actually picked out, I see the comments from all the videos past. And we got a comment from Chad Michaels, who I think has been a follower for quite a long time of the
Chad
channel.
Michaels is a character in Blades of Glory.
Is that what that is?
Chaz Michaels is the rock star of the ice skating world. He's Will Ferrell, who's sort of like a kind of Jim Morrison-esque figure in Blades of Glory. He's a sex addict who's an alcoholic in it. That's maybe an underrated film. It's kind of a good bad film. It's
the guy from Napoleon Dynamite as well, right?
Yeah. It's Jed Hess, or whatever his name is, Jared Hess, or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
And it's got what's his face from Arrested Development in it, Job, who's always a pleasure. Just his voice is incredible. So anyway, sorry to derail, but yeah.
That's all right. I don't think that this is actual Chad Michaels. Oh. It's not going to be Will Ferrell. So Chad Michaels says, just been watching through some old school videos, loving them. FYI, Johnny, you've barely aged. Good work. Now we know what the secret is. Brad hasn't really either. Just become more of a silver fox.
Oh, he's Chaz. See, I think it is Chaz because he's flirting with the both of us there.
Wait, he's not done. He's not done. So I realised that when I met you briefly at London Craft Beer Festival, I said I'd got to try a barrel-aged Colonel Export Stout, and that was my beer of the festival, because I already thought it was one of the best stouts. Then I heard you on the vid say you thought it was, and then he said Westmalle Double was one of the best beers, and it's also one of my favourite beers. And now the St Bernardus debacle, he's commenting on a St Bernardus video, I had their beers and had no idea who they were, and I realised they were some of the best beers I've had. I just got a load in for Christmas, including the 12. I won't even get started on the beer door, and I have no idea what my point is, but it made me happy. Which we like I think he'd been drinking some St Bernardus when he wrote that, but it just made me smile.
Were there any full stops in that? Or was that just...
No, I was reading it verbatim.
Yeah, great. Love it.
Not many full stops, not many capitalizations, not many commas.
Love it. Just pure joy. And
pure joy.
Love of beer, man. It comes across big time. Well done, Chaz.
And then my other favourite comment was, because in the video this week we talked about how we couldn't quite calculate the ABV. Because we didn't really know how much the raisins had added, how much the rum had added. And Leo Jakowski came on and gave us all the maths. I'm not going to read it out, but thank you, Leo Jakowski. We now know that our beer is probably about 7.2.
Cool.
So thank you, Leo. That's why I love doing homebrew on YouTube, because there's people that know this shit inside out. So that was this week's video. Do watch it if you haven't, although we've spoiled pretty much all of the drama that we put into there. Right, shall we move on to our question from the audience?
Oh, I love it. Yes, let's do it.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll play our question, which comes from a man called Danny.
Hi, Johnny and Brad. In the style of Cilla Black, if you were a beer snack, what beer snack would you be? That goes to both of you.
Okay, Brad. So we're in the chair. Cilla. Wait, is Cilla?
Cilla's. She can see both sides of the screen, so she knows what kind of trouble you're getting into.
See, I asked, is Cilla Black dead? And you said she can see both sides of the screen, which is a very philosophical comment.
Exactly. She's on the other side now. She's dead, I think. Yeah. And I think she died last year, actually. And
she timed it well.
She's probably still matchmaking in I was going to say in hell, but hopefully, if you believe in that sort of thing, she probably went to heaven. She had a few great singles in the 60s. She was an artist that they put American tunes out with her in the UK, because they used to do this. They used to like release the same tune in different, like America and Europe and stuff, with different artists, and they did that with her. She had some great tunes back in the day. Anyway, Cilla Black in the style of Blinded a Date.
Blinded a Date. Don't, Brad, we'll get sued. Well, they'll demonetize our podcast that makes no money. It's not monetized yet. So carry on singing.
Hi, Cilla.
I've been thinking about this one since I heard
go
this.
First.
I'm going to reference a debate that we had on this podcast many, many months ago when we were told that roast potatoes used to be a bar snack.
Oh.
And I would like to be, I don't know whether I am, I'd like to be a roast potato. You know, it's simple, it's elegant, it's not really, no one really likes it in a pub setting, and that's why it clearly disappeared. But I think if we brought it back, you know, if we gave it a chance, it would be excellent. And that's why I think I'm a roast potato.
Ah, that's great. I mean, who doesn't love a potato, mate? Maybe you're more of a jacket potato.
I saw. Here's some hot craft beer news. I saw the head brewer of Duration Brewing saying he doesn't get roast dinners.
What?
So not everybody loves a potato. Some people are wrong.
Well, I think you can get a roast potato really incredibly badly wrong.
You can.
And they can be the most disappointing variety of potato in the world. Or they can be the most glorious kind of potato in the world. And often that involves some sort of animal fat. And, many, many hours of labour and kind of bashing them up, Jamie Oliver style, to create a sort of crust. They're quite. You can be quite technical with a roasty.
I mean, you don't need to be that technical. The trick I would give you is super simple for Christmas. Is get your oil really fucking hot before you put the potatoes in, and then put the potatoes in at that same intense temperature, like full whack in the oven, for 10 minutes and then turn it down. And so long as you've got Maris Piper or better, then you're going to have a crispy potato. Whether you use goose fat, beef fat, olive oil, sunflower oil, it's going to crisp up.
Maris Piper or better, you heard it here first. I was going to do it in a sort of northern accent. You don't get much better than a Maris Piper.
Was that a northern accent?
No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
Have you been to the north, Brad?
I do like people from the north. They're excellent.
You're just talking about North London, aren't you? That was a North London accent.
No, I'm South London. I like people from South London. But in terms of the whole country on a wider metric, people from the north are much friendlier and more welcoming.
Yeah, I've never known you more loving than you were on that trip to Leeds.
Oh dear. I'm blaming the North Bar for that one. Jesus.
Yeah, Christian was very kind with the free drinks there. Yeah. Come on, what pub snack are you, Brad?
Well, look, mate. I think if there's something that sums me up perfectly, it's a Scotch Egg. I'm full of gas. I can sort of spew it out for many an hour in a sort of Alan Partridge gaseous Scotch Egg manner. I love a Scotch Egg. It's a perfect snack. It's
a perfect substantial meal.
Indeed, which we'll link on to our video upload for Sunday. But just to sort of go a little bit more at length on a Scotch Egg, the nature of a Scotch Egg, it's almost like a divine being created it, like a banana. It's in its wrapping already, so you don't need packaging for it. Banana, you just unpeel it and you eat it. Scotch Egg, there's not even any unpeeling. It's just in this perfect spherical, meaty, bready, fatty, deep-fried package that's just got a succulent, squeaky, boiled egg inside, which is, it's just all the terrible food groups that are probably going to give you some horrendous bowel disease down the line.
You should never, ever go on Blind Date.
Oh.
That was the least sexy answer I think I've ever heard. But I still really want a Scotch Egg.
I could have gone a bit sexier, I suppose. I could have been like, oh, do you like your sausage
Oh dear. No, abort.
And then I've got a gooey centre. I'm soft.
You do have a gooey centre, Brad.
I'm soft like a soft-boiled egg. Soft in the head, like a soft-boiled egg.
I'm soft like an egg.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the podcast title.
I do like calling people an egg sometimes if I think they're a wally. So, yeah, I think someone's been.
You also like calling chocolate oranges eggs.
Yeah, I just think
which is
fun.
Mixing up your your bastardised Christian festivals.
Exactly. I just think that probably we should ban Easter eggs and just have, round ones instead. Maybe next year we get rid of Easter eggs and we replace them with Scotch eggs. So a Scotch egg hunt, and the ultimate prize on the Scotch egg hunt is a Terry's chocolate orange, or as I call them, chocolate egg. That's the grand prize in the Scotch egg hunt for Easter. There you go. Ramble.
I just let that train ride on through town. Right. So I hope that answers your question, Danny.
Thanks, Danny.
I don't really know what the question was to start with at this point. So, yes, we are coming towards the end of our content for 2020. I can't say I'll be sorry to see 2020 go, but it's not gone yet. No. We've still got an upload on Sunday, which happily is all about Scotch eggs.
It is, mate. It is. I'm pretty psyched about the upload. It was something that we've sort of felt like we needed to talk about. The new landscape of pubs in the UK and what it means, what hoops they might have to jump through to enable to sell us some booze, which is at the end of the day what you want to be doing around Christmas time. You want to be meeting your mates in a pub and drinking some booze with them. Yeah.
And the Scotch egg, as we'll describe in the video, has been deemed a substantial meal. So we go down and we tell you the best beers to match with Scotch eggs and how you can use that to safely support your small businesses. So that's being uploaded on Sunday. And then next week we have our annual Christmas video, so not the live show, which is tomorrow, but our annual Christmas video. And then we have a final Friday, 5 p.m. next week, in which we're going to be talking about the year as a whole. Might be a slightly longer episode. We'll go into all the data of, how many of you guys watched it and stuff like that, because it's been by far our biggest year ever. And we owe you guys a lot to say thanks. So we're going to do a big bonanza episode.
We're in the top 40 food and drink podcasts in the UK now, right?
We are, yeah. We are growing, and we are sort of, hovering around the 40 mark, sometimes a lot higher, sometimes a lot lower, depending on whether we release a bubble episode within the parameters of that, of the rankings.
Mate, I'm never going to be a pop star, so to rank in the top 40 in an audio field, I am chuffed with that. Top of the pops.
Yeah. Top of the hops, there you go.
Top of the hops, that was an old callback.
It was, yeah. That was our first playlist ever, wasn't it? You can go back and see that. I wouldn't advise it. And then a week on Sunday, we're releasing, hopefully, our final bubble episode of the year. I won't give away the concept, but it's Christmas themed. I'm not giving away the concept because it's not 100% confirmed, but hopefully it will be recorded and up on the 20th of December. And that'll be our last bit of content for 2020. And we'll be back early January with a bang with our big in 2021.
Your predictions of big in beers have been spot on every year. So there was a lot of on the dark web. People were like, "Is Johnny a psychic?"
I was like the octopus who predicted the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Just less legs and less success.
Less views.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad. So all that's left with this week's episode is to remind you that we have our live show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. There's a link in the box below. You don't have to have bought the box, the Taste Along box from Beer Merchants to enjoy it, but do bring some Christmas beer, a delicious cheese, and a mince pie, and then you can get involved in everything we've got planned. And also remember, you've got till the 20th to buy merchandise of Craft Beer Channel to get it in time for Christmas. So please do support the channel that way if you can. And Brad's designed some really awesome wearables that you can buy.
Thanks, man.
Anything to add, Brad?
No, just that we love you guys, and it means the world to us that you're out there listening and watching and commenting on our Discord. So Discord is a new thing. If you're a Patreon, please sub to be a Patreon. It really does help keep the lights on. If you want to become a Patreon, like I say, you can join our Discord forum, which is great. We've built this sort of community where like-minded folk are just being lovely to each other and enjoying the wonderful world of beer. It's very non-judgmental, and it's a free-thinking place. It's awesome.
It really is. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So stay safe out there, guys, and come join us for some beers tomorrow night, eh?
The Bubble Podcast is brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's Craft Beer channel. Head to youtube.com/the Craft Beer channel to watch this week's video and over 400 more exciting episodes. If you love what we do, please do subscribe and even join our Patreon at patreon.com/craftbeer channel. Love and beer.